Meanwhile, Homer and Morticia try to make it up to Thing for forgetting his birthday. While doing so, Homer asks his wife how preparations for the gala are going. Morticia admits she had a sudden impulse to invite her mother, pointing out that, as the richest alumna of Nevermore Academy, it's probably the real reason Director Dort tried to recruit her. Homer tries to calm her, brushing off her worries, and distract her with music and an unusual dance. While they dance, Wednesday slips in through a window and heads to her mother's room. She tries to open a trunk, determined to get her hands on Goody's book. Morticia catches her in the act, warning she won't make access to the book easy. Wednesday explains she's had a new vision about Enid's possible death and needs the book to restore her psychic abilities. Morticia refuses, saying her daughter hasn't mastered her gift yet, comparing her to Aunt Oilia, whose impatience drove her mad. Despite their differences, Morticia promises not to fail her like her own mother once did. Frustrated, Wednesday leaves. In her room, she sits with Thing, realizing that if she can't regain her powers, she'll have to solve the Galpin case the old-fashioned way. She finds a way to get Enid out of the room, then confides in Thing that she can't tell her roommate about the death. At that moment, Agnes suddenly appears, eager to hear Wednesday's story. Wednesday coldly warns her to disappear and never come back, or she'll arrange her funeral. Meanwhile, Pericles and Eugene return to the shed, where they find Slurp and notice his incredible ability to regenerate. Eugene, worried about the danger, suggests telling an adult. Pericles, uneasy but confident, says not to worry. He already has a plan. At Sheriff Galpin's funeral, Wednesday runs into Sheriff Ritchie and Dr. Fairburn. The sheriff warns her to stop getting involved with unstable killers and says he knows about her visit to Taylor at the psych center. As he leaves, Wednesday asks Dr. Fairburn if Galpin had visited Taylor before. She replies, only once, and describes Taylor's uncontrollable rage that required a shock collar for 5 minutes to calm him down. Marina suggests the killer might be an Avian, but the doctor insists there are no inmates with bird control abilities. Marina thanks her and walks away, unaware of a one-eyed crow watching her from a distance. At the Apple Hollow Inn, Bianca uses her siren abilities to subdue the receptionist and demands the key to room 302, ordering that no one bother the guest or remember her visit. Inside, Bianca finds her mother and scolds her for not closing the curtains for staying inside. Her mother says she's been glued to the noose. Bianca explains that the only way to get her out of the cult was in cuffs or a body bag, so she made sure it didn't come to that. She says she doesn't blame Gideon for finding her when she was vulnerable, but her mother insists he only married her to recruit people and steal her money. Bianca assures her the hardest part is over, and they just need to follow the plan to find Gideon and be free. Elsewhere, Marina, frustrated by dead ends, interrogates Agnes about how she unlocked the late sheriff's phone. Agnes reveals that, with Josephine's help, they created a simulation of the sheriff's face to bypass security. She also gives Marina a box of Galpin's belongings, recovered before police arrived. Among them, Marina finds a recording of Carl mentioning a base, which she realizes isn't a police station. A photograph points her to Pinerest, and with a map and Thing's help, she locates it near Jericho Camp. This forces her to join the school field trip there. At the camp, Marina notices Pericles carrying a coffin and asks what's inside. He claims it's full of gasoline. Just then, the rest of the Adams family arrives. Pericles asks his chauffeur Largo to help with the coffin. Gomez tries to ease the tension between Wednesday and Morticia, but Marina walks away silently. Later, Homer asks Morticia if it wouldn't be easier to just give Wednesday the book. Morticia admits she wants to please her daughter, but refuses to risk losing her. She also needs Wednesday's complete trust. Meanwhile, Eugene discovers Pericles smuggled Slurp into camp inside the coffin. Pericles explains they couldn't leave him alone and set up fireworks as alarms in case he escaped. Annoyed, Eugene decides to sleep in another tent. Homer appears with snacks, but both boys decline. Noticing the mood, Homer advises them, if they get into trouble, they should leave no trace. Director Dort greets the students with over-the-top excitement, but Ron Kruger, leader of the Phoenix Cadets, interrupts, claiming the campsite with his reservation contract. Dort produces his own contract. Wednesday steps in, proposing they settle it with a competition. The rules: 2 teams of up to 10, 5 defending, 5 attacking. The goal is to capture the Saphiro and haul it to the watchtower. First to succeed wins. The game begins, and both sides grab the Saphiro, leading to a frantic chase. Just as a cadet is about to score, Marinus swings down on a rope, boots it from his hands, and plants it on the tower, winning the match. The Phoenix cadets vow to take the camp back. That night, students gather around the campfire. Ajax sadly watches Enid laugh beside Bruno as he plays guitar. Marinus sneaks away to Pinerest, where she finds an abandoned cabin filled with Galpin family photos and newspaper clippings about Sykes and her dead patients. All clues point to a woman named Louise, possibly Enid's next target. Marina tries to use her powers but fails. Outside, the one-eyed crow is watching her again. Back at the campfire, Director Dort asks Morticia if she's convinced her mother to start donating to the school again. She hasn't given in years. Morticia says she hasn't and refuses to fall for her mother's manipulations. In the forest, Ajax interrupts Enid and Bruno's conversation. Enid admits things have moved too fast and that her feelings have changed. Ajax is heartbroken, staring at the ground before walking away. Later, Wednesday accuses Morticia of stealing Goody's book and challenges her to a blindfolded fencing duel. If Wednesday wins, she gets the book. If Morticia wins, she'll burn it. Thing is the witness. Meanwhile, the Phoenix cadets sneak back into camp at night in camo. Ron Kruger enters Slurp's tent, but the zombie is free and attacks, eating his brain. The fireworks go off, alerting Pericles and Eugene. They rush over to find Ron's body, and no sign of Slurp. Agnes appears, claiming she's handling Wednesday's secondary problems. Together, they track the zombie to a rustic bathroom, where Homer is showering. Slurp grabs an axe and starts breaking the wall behind him, but Pericles shocks the zombie with electricity, knocking him down. The noise draws everyone's attention, but Slurp gets back up and flees into the woods, running straight into Wednesday and Morticia. Morticia smashes the crystal heart embedded in Wednesday's chest, winning the duel. But Slurp suddenly attacks her. Wednesday reacts instantly, hurling her sword through his head and saving her mother. Police arrive to remove both Ron's body and Slurp. Wednesday, though defeated, accepts that she'll have to continue her investigation without powers, still wondering who Louise really is. At the psych center, Dr. Fairburn is informed of a new transfer. She warns the staff to keep constant watch. This inmate has already killed at least 2 people. The cell door opens, revealing a woman with her hands completely cuffed.